This is my new video series. It will drop every Friday. It's called Cut and Paste Creatively with Leslie Ackman. And I hope that you will enjoy this creative process. If you don't know what cut and paste journaling is, I have a whole video on that, and the link is in the show notes to that. But cut and paste journaling is something that anyone can do. You don't need very many supplies. The whole purpose of this weekly series, though, is to show you that cut and paste journaling is so much more than just taking some stuff and gluing it on a page. You can do so many creative things with this process. You don't have to know a lot. You don't have to have a lot to do this. It can be as simple as you want it, or it can be as involved as you want it. And that's what this weekly series is all about in 2025. Before we get started with some actual cut and paste today, I just thought I would go through some of the supplies that you're going to want to need just to get started. If you've never ever done any kind of art journaling, this is the easiest way to get started. The most inexpensive way to get started. And also I feel like it is the most satisfying way to get started, because anyone can do this, whether you know all about this kind of art journaling or whether you know nothing. You can literally get started in 5 minutes. Okay, before we get started, in case you don't know what it is, what it looks like, I thought I'd go through just one of my books so you can kind of get a feel for what cut and paste journaling is. It's honestly where we just find images, whether it's in a magazine, whether it's, there's so many resources online right now, including myself. I have a shop in Patreon and Ko-fi where you can purchase many of these images that you're seeing. I also offer free downloads all the time in my Patreon free membership group, also in my Facebook community, Sacred Feather Soul Journaling. So there are a lot of places to find these kinds of images that you're seeing. These are all from my Patreon. Most of these are. Cut and paste journaling can really help us with our emotions. This was a page that we created in my Patreon paid membership group. And we talked about what happens and when we have chaos in our life, and then what happens when we, can take some time and try to have peace amongst that chaos. And it's probably one of my most favorite pages I've ever done, because when I see this page, I instantly, when I look at this image here, it just reminds me that even if I feel like things are exploding and going crazy and there's so much chaos and it's just pouring, right? It won't stop. I can find peace among that storm and have some calm in my life. You can find your images, you can use fun little images that remind you of when you were a little girl. I like to do that a lot. Unicorns were always my spirit animals, so I like to use unicorns and fun rainbows. I like to use flowers and glitter and washi tape and notebook paper and collage soup elements. One of my very favorite places to go. I like to use elements that my 4-year-old granddaughter made me. Isn't that beautiful? I like to find my own images online. I like to use magazines. This is from a Bella Grace magazine. And I'm not quite finished with this journal yet. I still have a few fun pages to go. So that is the gist of cut and paste. That is what your cut and paste book can look like. It can have something as simple as a background paper with an image like I've done here. There's nothing extra here. There's just some images. I do have a few little jewels, but otherwise there's no paint or anything like that. Or it can have paint. You can go through and you can do some painting in your background. You can add, collage paper. You can add lots of glitter. There's just, some journaling spots. There's so many different things that you can do with cut and paste. Okay, so let's get to some of the supplies that you might want to have on hand. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee first. supplies that you will most definitely want to have on hand are some smaller scissors. This is perfect for fussy cutting. You'll want to have a glue stick. You know, I use whatever's on sale. Elmer's is on sale a lot. I also use the Walmart brand. My favorite brand is from Amazon, and I like to buy them in bulk. I just haven't done that in a while, but I think you get like 40 or 60 of these for under $15. So that's what I try to do, but the Elmer's glue stick works great. You're also going to need some kind of a journal. Now for me, I often create my own journal. I often just gather papers up, like book papers and, you know, background papers, like old scrapbook papers, tissue paper, graph paper, all kinds of stuff. And then I just do a simple pamphlet stitch, which I do have a tutorial on how to do a simple pamphlet stitch on my YouTube channel. And then I just put a little book together using a poster board here. And this makes a perfect cut and paste book. So, and this book is just a work in progress. I'm working on this one. Or you can do what I often do is a simple composition notebook. And honestly, if you just want to go the easy way, that is what I would start with. Let me show you. So this is a composition notebook, and this is what it looks now. It's full, but you can see here that this is the back part of my composition notebook. But it became my Big Book of Brave. This was a free art journaling prompt challenge that we did in my group, Sacred Feather, which you can still find all the prompts in my group. And this was just a simple cut and paste journal that I did. And this again was a $1 composition notebook. So it's really fun to use composition books. I absolutely love them. Okay, the other thing that you're going to need is images, right? So again, you can find images and words in a lot of places. And what I like to do is when I find them, sometimes I like to just sit and cut. If I feel like I want to be creative, but I really don't want to maybe necessarily, you know, work in my book, I'll just sit and cut out stuff. And so I like to have a lot of things pre-cut. What I do with those things is I put them by category in these zippered pouches that I found on Amazon. And I have a girl's bag, I have words and phrases, I have things like crystals and feathers and flowers and stars and things like that in this one. And then this is my animal one, and backgrounds. Like I use a lot of images from geography type books, National Geographic, you know, things that have like national park photos in them, volcanoes, wildflowers, fields, things like that. Make great backgrounds for cut and paste. It's also fun to use sticker books. I found this sticker book on clearance for $3. It has over 2,200 stickers in it at Walmart. It's the Pen and Gear brand. You can find it in their notebook aisle. And they always have these. And this is actually the second book I have because I share these with my 4-year-old grand. She also likes to use them, but stickers are really fun to use in books. You can also use old magazines, like I mentioned, a National Geographic. It's really fun to use. Old Vogue magazines. Vogue is probably my favorite place to go for magazines. Cosmo. There's just so many places, you know, old books. Start going to yard sales, flea markets, anything like that, and you're bound to find something. Fairy tale books are really fun to find images in. So you'll have so much fun, and then you just kind of gather these things together. You get your notebook, and you just dive right. I thought I would show you how I go about creating in my journals. I don't always go and sit down and open a page and start working on it and then finishing it. It's very rare that I do that, actually. So I thought it would be fun to show you how I work on journals. So this is a journal that I created using a simple pamphlet stitch. Again, that pamphlet stitch, I have a video for it. I need to leave that link in the show notes, and I will do that if I remember. I like to make these, they're pretty thin, just one signature in there. I use all kinds of papers. Usually it's just papers that honestly I won't use. I put them in here because I can always cover them up with paint, and I just create these little books. And I don't necessarily have a theme for most of them, although a theme definitely will emerge usually. And this particular one is just kind of all about me, you know, being ready to listen to my soul and be brave. And that's usually my theme of most of my journals, is being brave, reminding myself that I got this, I can do this. So I just actually started working on the cover of this, and I really love the stark contrast between black and white photos and elements against this busy mixed media background with lots of paint and marks and things like that. So what I'll do when I have a journal like this is I'll just open it and I'll start flipping through pages, and I'll decide, oh, I like this page. Okay, I'm gonna work on this page, and I'm just gonna start adding duct tape to it. Okay, so that's what I did here. This journal is almost finished, and so what I've been doing is I have been just, when I have some time, I'll gather one of my pouches. In this case, I gathered up the pouch that has all the girls in it. And one day I was sitting on the bed with my granddaughter, and I just started going through those images, and I just started opening pages that needed to be finished, and I started pasting down these girls. So that's what I've got going right now. I just started pasting some girls down. I wanted to show you where I had done all of that. I started pasting these girls down. Then as I started pasting the girls, right, there's some girl, I'll go back. Obviously these pages aren't finished. And then I think there's this page, yes. And this is the last page. And so when I got finished doing that, I kind of went back and I opened up another pouch, and I was like, oh, feathers. I think I need to put some feathers here. Feathers represent spirit speaking to me and my dreams. So this was perfect. And then I'll start, like, I put a background here with these girls. I'm not even quite sure where this is going yet. I was inspired. The circles here, circles on her cheeks. I was inspired to do that. I'm gonna go through my bags. I have no idea where this is going. And my goal is to finish at least one of these pages today here on, as we're creating this, this video. And just thought I would show you, how I go about doing that. So enjoy. And then as you start cutting them and you decide where you want to place them, it's so calming and so soothing. And it's like all of this stuff that you're reading to yourself, it like soaks into your heart and your soul, and it helps you remind you maybe of what you need to hear, you know. And so for me, this page represents, so a deer can be a spirit animal, and it reminds you to bring peace into your life. And so as I created this page, you know, I very first had started out with just collaging some of these ladies. These are from Collage Soup, and then this is one that you can receive actually free in my group. And she reminds me of someone that is broken and has a lot of angst in her eyes, right? She looks kind of like she's a little wild and maybe going through some things. And these ladies look pretty peaceful, especially this one. And I had no idea where this page was going when I first put these ladies down. That I just put those images down. They spoke to me, and I thought, you know, sometimes I was looking at the symbolism for a deer a few days ago. You know, it said if you see a deer can mean that there's peace coming into your life. And so I happened to have a deer in one of my little pouches. And if you noticed, before I started this page, I gathered out a few things that just kind of leapt out at me. So that's what I do when I am working on a page. And this is also very relaxing. You know, I thought, oh, I see a deer. And at first I thought I might use this one, but I wanted it just to be more realistic looking. But I also picked out a butterfly. And I thought maybe at first I might, you know, do a bunch of butterflies and have them kind of flittering through the page. But this deer definitely spoke to me. And then as I began sifting through all of my words, I at first thought I might use this one. And so I cut it out. And even though I didn't use it on my page, you know, it's such a great reminder. I am dancing and dreaming and living my one brave life. So what I'll do with this now, when I cut out these phrases and I decide not to use them on one particular page, I have this little beautiful tray that my daughter gifted me years ago, and I keep them here. And then I keep this just right on my desk, and I'll sift through these and always find some little treasure in there right when I need it. So as I began cutting and pasting these words, I am coming out of the dark, leapt out at me. And so this is how I'm feeling in my life. I'm feeling like after a very long time in the dark, you know, things really began to shift for me in 2024, and I'm feeling so good. And then I had this portal type looking image that I just loved, and I felt like that was spirit. And so I always also keep a sheet of words. I will show you here. I keep a sheet of Dear Leslie, and I learned how to do this through my friend and mentor Melody Ross. When I went to her Brave Girls camp, she gifted us all several sheets of our name, and it's quite powerful when you actually use your name on a page. Posca paint pens are a great addition to a cut and paste page because they're very low maintenance. You don't have to have water and paintbrushes and paint and all the stuff. You can literally just keep them in a basket or one of my zip bags, and you can take them with you. All of this is so portable. You can take any of these things with you on a trip, to your bedroom, you know, wherever you want to just pick up something quick and start creating. So I like to have these. I like to make marks on my pages. I don't do it on every page, but I do it on some pages. It just kind of adds a pop of color, and it's just kind of fun. Mark making is incredibly relaxing, and in this particular book, I don't have a lot of marks, but I do have a few. So pink is my favorite, and dots are my favorite too. So I'm going to go back to my page and kind of see what I want to do here. Not quite sure where we're going with it, but it'll come to me.